The more I'm sober, the more I learn that people have been rooting for me this whole time. Let's go, dude. I'm not going to let them down.
We first spoke to Jay Mohr nearly 18 months ago as he continued his comedy and pursued his sobriety.
Life's good, man.
You lost 60 pounds?
Yeah. Got hair
I
transplant
wasn't going
surgery.
there.
Got a new tooth. Yeah.
And since then, let's just say that life, it's been pretty good. Things have changed.
I got married.
So you married the owner of the Lakers.
Yeah, that's what they tell me.
Comedian, actor, and friend of the show. Back again, Jay Mohr on The Pulse.
I like the way you roll, man. This is fun in here.
Guys, welcome to another episode of The Pulse. You know what we do here? We're talking to people with cool stories, hearing about them, and we have the pleasure of having one of our earlier guests in studio this time. Comedian, actor, most proud of author. Well, not most proud
author's
of.
professionally, yeah, author's really cool.
Okay. Jay Mohr.
Yeah. Let's go! Yeah, you were right. Your producer bet that I would do that. I like the way you roll, man. This is fun in here. Your name's on the wall. You know you're a big shot.
Now, listen, that can change. Last time we talked, we were Zooming, we were having the conversation, and we said if you're ever back in Philadelphia, you should stop through.
And I said I would.
Man of your word. We haven't spoken to you again for a while. Since then, you lost 60 pounds?
Yeah.
That's congratulations,
Got
man.
new
That's
hair.
Good stuff.
Got hair
I
transplant
wasn't
surgery.
Going there.
Got
I
new
wasn't
teeth.
going to go
Yeah.
there. I was just going to say
Got a new tooth.
I was going to compliment your style. Your hair
I
looks
take it
good.
out to eat corn on the cob and everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you just decided to focus on getting healthy. Was that an actual movement?
Well,
to
yeah.
lose
I
the
mean,
weight?
my doctor said I was obese, and that was just, oof. He dropped the O word on me. Obese.
That hurts. And their standards are so jacked up. Because you go in there thinking,
I was
work out a
obese.
little bit. You weren't obese.
Bro, I was 236.
When we last talked to you?
Yeah. He called me obese, and I wanted to slap him for calling me that, but it would take me 6 minutes to climb off that little table. Oh, it was awful.
Tell us about life since then. Things have changed.
I got married.
Yeah.
September 3rd, I got married, and
Congratulations.
thank you.
So you married the owner of the Lakers.
Yeah, that's what they tell me.
Yeah, I read it. I saw it on your social media and what have you.
It's my girl.
But yeah, how'd you guys meet?
I had a radio show, and I interviewed her for my radio show. I just felt, probably imagined it, but I felt the vibe. So as the kids say, I slid into her DMs, and I asked her to do my podcast.
This guy's good.
And then when she came off the elevator to do the podcast, it was slow motion. And then we hung out again later that week, and that was 6 years ago. Now we're husband and wife, madly in love, happy.
You live in separate places.
Yeah. Well, we did when we were dating, because it's a 3-apartment building.
Okay.
She's on the top, I'm on the bottom, and there's another couple in between. And so me and my son live on the first floor, she's on the top floor. And so when we were planning the wedding, she goes, nothing has to change, as far as the living arrangements. And I was like, what? Because look, I'm a guy. When I lay down at night, it's like bombs away. You know what I mean? I can't, to share a mattress with somebody for the rest of your life, that's ridiculous. You wake up in the morning, people, what's the number one thing you hear? Don't talk to me yet, I don't have my coffee yet.
Right.
Well, now you get to have your coffee before you even talk to your significant other.
I feel like yours is the perfect setup, though.
It is.
Because you're
It's good.
right there.
It's good being me.
This is
Guys
working,
wake
and
up,
it's
it's like having a
positive thing.
5-year-old. Guys wake up, we're looking around, we don't know what day it is, we're idiots. And at night when I lay down, it just bombs away. And plus, the TV, just what you want to watch and what your wife wants to watch. Different worlds. You come to an agreement. You wind up watching Stranger Things as a couple. You like it or whatever. I like old westerns, black and white. I love it. Everything. It's a sense of fair play. Don't bother that guy. He's not wearing a gun. Whoa, hey, what are you gonna shoot him in the back? You can't. Everything was fair back then.
Right.
Women, house hunters. That's all women care about is house hunters.
Okay.
Women love watching house hunters, or you want to watch people cook or buy a house.
You seem like that guy, humble, kind of enjoying your life. I don't know if that's always been you,
my
but
life's
that's what
great.
you see, right? And
I tell
that's
jokes.
her.
My job is people laugh when I do my job. It's pretty
Okay.
great. I get applause for doing my job. Imagine every time you came to work, people went, "There he is, yes."
It doesn't happen.
Like, that's crazy, right?
I can't even imagine.
It's nuts.
Yeah.
It's the best.
You told us during the break that we were one of the first shows that you did.
You were
going
the
into-
first interview I did after rehab.
You now have had some more time to get back into
Yeah.
experiencing that.
Yeah.
Tell us about that. Like, now you're further along in that journey of
Yeah,
people applauding
almost
for
at
you.
3 years sober, and the biggest difference is you get so humbled. To get to a point of recovery, you have to surrender your ego so profoundly and just completely surrender that your way just doesn't work. And I had so much proof that my way hadn't worked. My life was so unmanageable for so long that when you're at your own intervention at 50 years old, when you're standing in line for meds in your pajamas with a bunch of other drug addicts, that's when your life has come to, that's all the proof you need, ideally, to know that your way doesn't work. So that humility isn't virtue, it's circumstance. Just get that clear.
Okay.
It's not like, I'm going to be humble. Like, no, I got humbled. You know, I got knocked to my knees.
There's a lot of people who get knocked to their knees and don't get up or blame society and
Yeah.
don't, like, maybe you were humbled, but embracing it and turning your life around is about you.
Well, if I had any other options, I probably would have taken them.
Really?
I mean, it's tough. A self-diagnosed disease that tells you you don't have the disease.
Right.
That's a tough hustle. Like, cancer doesn't tell you you don't have cancer. You're all right.
Yeah.
But alcoholism and addiction tells you the whole time, like, "Hey, was it really that bad? Was it really?"
And you went through that, just the constant, I don't have a problem, I don't have a problem. I read
I
someplace
knew in the
that
back
your
of my
your
mind all the
friends had to
time.
Wu-Tang you in order
Yeah,
to
they
do an
told me from my
intervention.
intervention to get me there. They said for my podcast the next morning I was going to interview Wu-Tang Clan, and I was so high I believed them. I thought Wu-Tang Clan was coming to my house at 8 o'clock in the morning. You listen to Wu-Tang?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
they're not morning people.
No, that's
it-
valid. That's like saying, Snoop's going to meet you at 6 a.m. Like, unless he's still up,
Right.
that's not going to happen.
Back to the original question, like, what's it like in recovery doing this? To not be chasing anything, to not want the accolade, to not do it for the money, to not do it for the girls, to not do it to launch a podcast, to not act to maybe get a production company up and running, to just do it because it's your calling to make other people happy or whatever. It's a profound shift in how you feel every day.
You very clearly like it more now. Like, that's an interesting message to people who may be in recovery themselves.
Yeah, because there's no chase. I've won.
Coming up, there's no confusion. He feels like in comedy, he's simply that good.
I'm the best. Like, nobody can touch me. Real talk. I'll bury you at your family reunion in front of the potato salad. Bro, I'm 53 years old. I've been doing this since before I could vote. And I'm still in the game.
And doing it well, and people knowing you as you walk by.
Humility aside, I'm the best. Like, nobody can touch me. Real talk. I'll bury you at your family reunion in front of the potato salad. There's nothing going on up here other than that moment like, I'm in the moment just communicating. This is some crazy stuff that happened to me. I don't remember any jokes. I'm just, hey, I went to rehab. This is what it was like. This is what it's like to meet your roommate in rehab. This is what it's like to be at your own intervention. This is what it's like to get married at 53. This is why men and women argue. I'm not a good writer, but I'm a really good reporter.
Read that you looked back at some of your work and you're like, I thought that was great. And I don't even remember what was said in that.
I always thought I was the best, but I had a desire to prove to you how I was the best.
Okay.
And it's really just comes down to the little kid in the living room trying to impress his father.
Just accepting it.
Acceptance is the answer to all my problems today.
Now, how do people react to you being this open?
I don't really have any concept of how people react other than from the stage, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if they're at a show, they're there for the specific reason to hear me talk about how my life is going. So the system's kind of rigged in my favor.
Okay.
But as far as like other people, how I don't know, that's not really my business. The other fascinating thing in recovery is I was amazed how little people were actually thinking about me all the time. I also realized how supportive everyone in my life was. Like, everybody's really deep down rooting for everybody else, I think.
I would like to believe that, but I'm not sure I always do. And you've gotten a chance to experience it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm talking specifically to recovery.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
You are doing comedy
Right.
pretty much consistently. When we come and see you, you've said it's a taste of you just kind of telling your story.
Yeah.
What do we see when we come see a Jay Mohr show?
A guy having the best time of his life. Like, I laugh on stage, not like laughing at my own jokes, like annoying like comedians that do that. I hate that. Like, like, bro, you've been doing this for 15 years. What are you doing? I don't do crowd work.
Okay.
That's like a new obsession in stand-up. Like, everybody's doing crowd work. It's like, that's not show business. Show business isn't leaning against a wall and asking some guy what he does for a living. I do stand-up, and I tell stories. I do impressions. It's fun. It's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It doesn't. It's just. You can buy a ticket and go into a room, sit down, get some drinks, eat a little bit, and then just laugh like an idiot for an hour. Like, that's nuts.
Next, lately everyone is talking about comedian Katt Williams, and Jay clearly respects him.
Katt is the realest. You know he's the realest, dude. Katt is he put Michael Jackson on blast in front of a
Years
black
ago.
audience and be that just visceral about his disgust and disdain for it.
I talked to you, I've talked to several comedians who've come on, and there was always this underlying theme of we are all kind of this fraternity,
Yeah.
That's trying to look out for each other. I don't know how deeply involved you are or if you saw all the Katt Williams
I love Katt
kind
Williams.
of drama. Yeah, very talented comedian.
Love Katt
Yeah?
Williams.
So Katt Williams just blew up.
Oh, yeah.
Did this podcast. It's a 3-hour podcast that got 50 million views. And it was basically, I'm just airing grievances.
Well, he was replying to when he got called out, and when people put his name in their mouths,
Okay.
he laid low for years, and then went, okay, here's my response to
Everything.
everyone that put my name in their mouth. You want to know why so-and-so doesn't act? Because he can't read. Look, Katt's a good dude.
Yeah, I mean, I've
Katt's
never
like-
met him.
Katt's like adopting other people's kids so they can have a better life. Like, Katt's about that.
You have a lot of people who came out and said, listen, I had nothing. I was struggling. Katt Williams called me to his show
Yeah.
and gave me $15,000.
Yeah, no, Katt's
They talk
great.
about he's that dude.
I did a small movie once I produced, and I just needed Katt. I wanted Katt to do a part in it. And it was like, he didn't make any money. He came and he was there all day, all the next day. Like, Katt, we like to work. Like, comics like to work.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, you got to get out there and you got to work. You got to be a part of life. Katt's about that.
So he has your respect.
Oh, Katt's one of my favorite comedians. To me, as a white suburban guy, he's the epitome of an African-American guy handling his business. So when he's in front of a black audience and he's talking about a black experience, I'm fascinated.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know he knows what he's talking about, obviously. So, like, there's like a twofold thing. He's not talking about like when him and his family went on a cruise and how funny the buffet was.
Right.
He's talking about, and then there's this type of guy, and then there's that. Like when Cedric the Entertainer's like, you ever see that cool guy outside the liquor store, the way he would smoke?
Yeah.
I just watched that like, wow. Like, yeah, I think I've seen him, but you've obviously, like, thanks. So it's like, thanks for
Right.
letting me inside your story.
We talked to some of the people who were involved in all of that. But you get, even from arm's length, somebody who feels like their name has been thrown out there and here's my chance. Like, that's kind of how you interpreted.
Oh, the Katt thing?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Did you hear him promote any dates?
No.
At no time did he say, I'm at the Punchline.
He was
Shannon
just-
Sharp never went, check out Katt at the Punchline tonight. No. You know what? Let's sit down, have some Cavassier.
And let's
And
talk.
I'm just, you want some tea? I'll spill some tea. You want to keep it real? Let's keep it real.
And 50 some odd million people in like a
Look.
week. were interested in
Katt
that.
is the realest. You know he's the realest, dude. Katt is he put Michael Jackson on blast in front of a
Years
black
ago.
audience,
Yeah.
and it was the first, and the crowd in a coliseum to see 16,000 people uncomfortable. That was mind-boggling as a comedian to watch the balls on that guy to take that stance that early and be that just visceral about his disgust and disdain for it.
Next up, a final word with comedian, actor, Jay Mohr.
Oh, I mean, I may not be much, but I'm all I think about. So I'm going to tell you more about me.
So, author, actor, comedian. Is it fair to ask what's next, or are you just living day to day?
Yeah, I'm just messing with Friday, but yeah, I'll always be a comedian. It's just who I am, and look, I get acting roles here and there. I'm just going with the flow, man.
And that's okay.
It's the best.
Talking to you about these things, you almost sit back and go, I'm not sure I should be laughing about this, but the way he's sharing it,
It's funny.
is making you, but it's encouraging to people who are watching. You know, it's making you feel like the whole, fall down but get back up, continue living your life. You just
What else would
happy.
I talk about? Oh, I mean, I may not be much, but I'm all I think about. So I'm going to tell you more about me. You know what I mean?
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. It makes sense. Any more books in the works?
I thought about doing a book about recovery, and then it's a little too much ego, I think. I'm not comfortable getting accolades for reporting that. Like, you gotta give it away to really get the benefits of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll just continue to just be this one-man band traveling the world and letting people know there's a way out of no way out.
So doing what you love is still kind of your service, your therapy, healing for you.
No, I think
too.
it is for the first time.
Okay.
That's more to the point of why there's a different joy to it, because it was all about what can I get, what can I get, what can I get, and now it's like last night there was 10 guys from a sober living at my show.
At your show.
Like, there's a cat that hasn't even had 30 days yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, I get to show this guy that life gets fantastic just by doing my job. Like, that's nuts.
It's also a lot of responsibility.
No. Why?
No? Because these are people who are sitting there, like they are getting this level of encouragement and believing that they can, and in some ways hanging on your words.
The only reason I'm sober is because a guy agreed to help me get sober.
Okay.
And I was told over and over and over again, we stay sober by helping the next guy get sober. I have to get it. I got to give it back to experience it. I mean, I have to carry the message. I have to give what was so freely given to me. The guys that helped me gave me so much of their time, so much of their energy. If I called these guys at 3 a.m., complaining, they picked up. They picked up. Guys that I roll with, we show up. We show up. What if I'm the only guy in recovery that person meets that day?
Yeah.
And you could say it's a responsibility, but it's also more of an opportunity. Like, yeah, man, I've been exactly where you are. I remember being in rehab, face down on my bed, pounding like a cartoon character, like having a tantrum. Like, it's not fair. Yeah, you'll come around. It's fair. Life may not be fair, but it's fantastic.
We ask everybody as the final statement, what does use your voice for good mean in your life?
I like that quote, wherever you go, spread the good news, and if you have to, use words.
I appreciate you coming in, man. You are
it's good to see you in
It always
person.
sounds kind of, I don't mean it to sound that way, but you're easy to root for. That's what I love about this.
Let's go, dude.
So I appreciate
Let's
you
go,
taking the
dude.
time.
Who you helping today? Let's hear about it. Let's go.
Guys, thanks so much for watching another episode of The Pulse. Today with Jay Mohr. He is a comedian, an actor, and author, but I think clearly you saw that he's just a storyteller, sharing his message, trying to change lives. And I'm glad he spent some time with us here in studio. I enjoyed it. I often say that, but I hope that you did as well. A reminder that you can listen to the entire episode, all places where podcasts are available. You can go back and see some of our previous guests on YouTube. I'm sure you will enjoy some of them. All the episodes right there at your fingertips. Thanks so much for watching. And I leave you as I always do, reminding you whenever you can, use your voice for good and have a good one.